Today's Nonsense Wars train thing features my two Pennsylvania Railroad P85 passenger cars. These have appeared in passing in previous footage, but I want to cover them specifically now that I've been running them for a bit. The pair replaced my old P54 set, and I talked about my motivations for the swap in that video. During the pre- and post-World War II eras, the PRR ordered many steel-bodied 85-foot passenger cars from various builders, all classified as some flavor of P85. I based this pair, a coach and Parlor, off of P85H drawings, but I sacrificed some modeling accuracy in order to make them lighter. The increased vagueness of the cars also offers some prototypical flexibility, as the aforementioned manufacturers also made similar, if not identical, rolling stock for other railroads. I built these models slightly smaller than 1:48, both to match the scale of my T1 and to further reduce weight. Nonetheless, they still measure 61 studs magnet to magnet, and they look super silly on R40 curves. The latter especially dissuaded me from completing them in the past. Presently, though, with trains in the park becoming a regular thing and using almost exclusively wide radius track, I finally felt motivated to finish them. Despite the mitigation, the cars still weigh a lot. 700 grams for a P85 compared to 550 grams for a P54, though that does mean fewer grams per unit length. To be fair, weight isn't an immediate problem. It's just something that will slow your trains more, drain your batteries faster, and wear your parts harder. The two-car P85 set does weigh less than my original three-car P54 set, but I typically didn't run more than two of those already. As far as building techniques go, I made everything studs up in order to avoid adding structure and parts for potentially more accurate snot windows or fancier roof geometries. Even then, the roof still makes up a quarter of each car's weight due to the liberal use of 2x3 curve bricks. Lego just doesn't make a good bow element for this kind of shape, and I've tried several designs in the past on various locomotives and rolling stock. I usually say interiors are overrated, but the roofs do come off to reveal interiors. The P54s had significant internal structure that you could see through the windows, and I didn't mind this at first, but I eventually felt that any visible interior does constitute an exterior feature, and I blacked out those supports to make them harder to see. The P85s don't have such structures, so I decided to fill them with seats. These chairs are entirely cosmetic. They only serve to improve the outward appearance of the models, and they can't actually hold minifigs due to the low height of the cabin. As such, the roof doesn't actually have to come off, but it makes access easier in case something breaks inside. The seating layout also differs between the coach and the Parlor, as this helps differentiate the two in addition to the distinct window patterns. The bogies ride on a pretty typical Technic axle setup with BBB wheels, bearing plates, and a tiny bit of machine oil lubrication. Having had problems with early P54 frames falling off, I connected each frame greeble with 4 studs to improve the clutch, but they still like to break off in transit. I'm considering equipping these cars with proper bearing wheels to further reduce rolling resistance, so stay tuned for a potential video on that. Unfortunately, the length of the P85s do make them hard to store and hard to transport. They don't fit in my usual storage drawers, nor do they fit in standard banker's boxes. Aside from that, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. We'll see how long they stay in service and or what kind of modifications they need. On that note, this is the end of the video, so have a nice day.
Basically taken and CNC and drive gear out of some ABS.